Today we are going to talk about Dymension, what I'm currently doing with my airdrop, how I try to farm several airdrops in the same way, because there is a new opportunity which I wanted to bring to your attention, which I think is very lucrative, and I already allocated my Dymension token to this. But first we want to get into some statistics that you know what's currently going on the Dymension network and what people are currently doing with their tokens. Here we can see an overview for smart stakes, so all the layer ones in the Cosmos ecosystem, and how much of the current supply of the token is staked, so the percentage. And we can see that here, for example, that Say and Cosmos are currently with 70 and 64% the highest in terms of staked balance on their chains. And Dymension is also one of the bigger ones with almost 57% on here. So if we scroll through this list, you can see Dymension is probably in the top 20, top 30% when it comes to staked tokens on the network. And we can also check, for example, how much in US dollar value people are staking by scrolling through all the statistics and coming down here. You can see if you, for example, stake more than 1,000 US dollars in Dymension tokens, you're already roughly in the top 10% of all the stakers. So you can see roughly 9% are staking above 10K, and most of the people are staking below this 1K US dollar value, which is quite interesting to see, and an opportunity, of course, for future airdrops to know those statistics that you can take advantage of this. But today we want to not talk about staking our Dymension tokens in the validator, as those statistics here show. No, we want to talk about the liquid Dymension tokens, because I, for example, hold around 25% of my airdrop value liquid on my wallet and just waited for new opportunities. There is just a new one which we want to talk about in a few seconds. The first opportunity which I wanted to show you what I'm not using, because of the reason that I really value my Dymension tokens and don't want to experience any loss. They now offer here on the Dymension portal some yield farming pools where you can pair your Dymension tokens with different assets and earn very high APRs currently. So 0.3% to up to 0.5% daily here, for example, in the Dymension USDT pool. But again, you experience some kind of impermanent loss if Dymension rises in price, and you don't farm for any airdrop here if you allocate your Dymension tokens in those pools. That's why I decided to allocate my tokens now on Demex, because Demex now just had an announcement a few hours ago that they offer Dymension lending and borrowing. I already talked about this in a previous airdrop farming update, that I want to use my Dymension tokens for this, and now the opportunity is there. And there will be another opportunity in the near future, so in March, which I will talk about in a few seconds as well. So what we want to do here is we want to lend out our Dymension tokens on Demex, right? That's at least what I did. Demex is a money market on Carbon Chain, another layer one in the Cosmos ecosystem. And the thing I did here, I went to the lending category and lend out my Dymension tokens on here. How you can do that is very simple. You just need your Dymension tokens on the Dymension chain. As you can always see down here, that are your tokens. This is the chain you need the tokens on. Then you just come over to lend, and then you choose the amount of Dymension tokens you have in your wallet you want to lend here. You just type in the amount. Make sure if you are using Kepler currently, I had an issue with depositing with my ledger. So currently it doesn't seem to work, but if you're watching this video in a few days, maybe it's already working. So you just type in the amount, lend your Dymension tokens, and then you should already see them here on the overall dashboard. And what I then in general do with my positions, as you can also see with my Milk tier I lended out here, I loop my positions. So I go to the borrowing section and borrow Dymension tokens against it, or at least an asset that's correlated, that's moving in the same price direction. So for Milk tier, that would be again a Milk tier or a tier, because those assets are correlated to each other. You could of course also borrow stablecoins against it to use it on other platforms. That's my second preferred option. But my main focus here is of course leveraging or looping my positions to get a higher score for the future Demex airdrop, as well as to have more exposure to yield. Here in this case, we currently get an APY of roughly, let's say 78% on lending out our Dymension tokens. This will of course go down over time as more and more people lend their Dymension tokens. But if we borrow them, we still pay an interest fee of 117%. This should also go down as they add more liquidity to those pools. But as for now, I will just wait until this liquidity is added to don't pay those high interest fees on my positions. And then I will just borrow some Dymension tokens again. So I click on borrow here. You can see I have 72 available. So loan to value here in this case should be at around 60 to 70% if my math is right. And then I would just take 60% of this value here in this case. So I would choose, for example, 50 Dymension tokens, then I borrow them, and then I can, for example, lend them again here on Demex. Or another option, which I also want to bring to your attention now, is this offer from Stride here now, because Stride said they will offer a staked version of the Dymension token, as they also, for example, do for staked Atom, for staked Injective, for staked DYDX, or the latest was, I think, staked tier, which I also presented you on this channel. And I, for example, also took advantage of. The staked Dymension token is not live yet. So they want to give people the opportunity to unstake their Dymension tokens from the validators to liquid stake them with Stride, because they say they will talk with the protocols that liquid stakers of the Dymension token will also qualify for airdrops. And then they will potentially not only qualify for the rollups that drop to Dymension stakers, no, they will also give out an airdrop of the Stride token to all people that are using their liquid staking service, which is interesting here. So I, of course, want to have the option at any given time to unstake my Dymension tokens from Demex to put them into Stride. And what Stride then usually does, if we jump back on Demex, they offer also lending for their staked tokens here on Demex, as you can see. For example, we have Milkyway here, which is also a liquid staking token, which I lend out here. Then we have staked here, we have staked Atom, we have, for example, also staked DYDX, which is here. So all these tokens get usually listed after 1 or 2 weeks here on Demex as well. So the strategy for right now is I want to allocate my Dymension tokens here on Demex until Stride offers the liquid staking version. Then I'm gonna withdraw all my tokens from Demex, put them into the staked version of Dymension, and as soon as Demex offers the staking pools here, I will put them back in to have as much exposure as possible. And in this case, I can really recommend you to tick the bell on the Stride Twitter account, because last time when they announced the staked tier version, you had to be very quick because the returns you got on day one, because less people are staking, were way higher than the returns you are getting right now. So definitely follow their Twitter account, and once they get their announcement out that the staked Dymension token is out, immediately deposit Dymension token on Stride to get as much yields and airdrops in the future. Last thing I wanted to talk about, because you also saw that I landed out Milkyway or the Milkyway token on Demex. They have a partnership here, and I'm always trying to find the best solution for my milk tier as well. And here in this case, they have partnerships with those 8 protocols, for example, also with the Camelot DEX on Arbitrum. But all those protocols, despite Demex, already have a token. I'm not 100% sure about Khazar, but all the other 6 definitely have a token. I, for example, also have some tokens on Nolos protocol, which is a leasing platform, but I want to have as much exposure as possible to Demex and, of course, to Milk Tier to farm those 2 airdrops, because I think those will be pretty lucrative. And at this point, if you have exposure to all those protocols, so don't lose track of your positions, I can really recommend you to use, for example, a platform like Pulsar Finance. This is very similar to, for example, DBank on the EVM chains. And what you want to do here, or what you can do here, is track your whole portfolio. So you just want to get your wallet addresses on the different chains. You just paste it in here, your wallet address. As you can see, I have 2 in here. And then you see your whole positions. It could take time until your positions show up. For example, the Dymension position on Carbon Chain, so on Demex currently, is not displayed here because it's just live for a few hours. So just give it some time and you should soon see your positions here on Pulsar and keep track of your portfolio, that you know where your money is allocated and can shift it around at any given time once you need it. So that should do it on today's overview regarding my Dymension allocation, what I'm currently doing with my liquid tokens. I, of course, have the majority of my portfolio staked in the validators who have direct exposure to the airdrops all rollups are distributing to Dymension stakers. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them below this video. If you like this overview, it would be great if you can hit the like button. And if you don't want to miss future videos, which I release on a daily basis here on this channel regarding airdrop farming or other opportunities, feel free to hit the subscribe button as well. That's it. Thanks for watching and see you in my next one.